looks like we are good to go, y'all. How's everybody doing? How's everybody doing on this Thursday, April 24th? We are going to get into the weird and not news here. We're just going to jump right into it. Hope everybody's doing good. We got quite a few stories today to go over. Should be a good one. And we're just going to hop right into it, guys. I appreciate y'all that bared with the technical difficulties we had there to start things off with. We are multi-streaming and trying some new things out. So this is a live show, by the way. So, all right, let's get into some crime news. First off, we have, I don't know if you guys saw this, this pair of twins. They've been making the news, especially on social media. People were kind of freaked out. There was these twins, these two sisters. They witnessed some mayhem that unfolded on the Sunrise Coast, and the two sisters told their story, and you'll see why it kind of made a big stink around the internet if you haven't already. So,
some of the drama that unfolded on the Sunshine Coast this afternoon. Two sisters have told how their mother and man raced to help when the carjacked SUV rolled on Steve Irwin Way, only to find the gun-wielding car thief emerging from the wreck. Here's some of what they had to say.
And one guy, he was up there with our mum, and he went up there, and he was coming back down towards us, and he goes, "Run, he's got a gun." And our heart started to pound, and I said, "Oh, Mum, where's Mum?" And poor Mum was stuck up there, but apparently our brave Mum, she goes, "Are you all right?"
Because he had all blood
all over his face. And he goes, "I'll shoot you." She goes, "Hey, I'm here to help."
And Mum distracted him to make him look the other way, and he looked the other way, and Mum ran into the bush
behind the fence. And the guy goes to her, "I'll find you and I'll shoot you." All I was thinking about when we were running, I hope he doesn't fire. Yeah, we were so blessed.
How close to him do you think you were?
Well, see, he was up there, and we were past our
when you
driveway. Yeah.
You don't think of all of that at the time. No, you just run for your safety.
Witness.
okay, so that's what's caused the ruckus. As you can see, it's brought up a lot of new questions in this short amount of time since this happened only a few days ago. Whether or not telepathy is a thing and so forth. The twins have been interviewed, or the sisters. I'm not even sure if they're twins, but they've been interviewed a lot of places. They said that they didn't even realize that they were speaking in unison when they were doing the interview. So again, it's bringing up a lot of questions about, whether telepathy is actually a thing. Is it a true thing that exists? Like I said, they say that they didn't even realize until they watched the footage themselves that they were saying the same things at each other. So pretty weird and odd. And definitely, like I said, bringing up a lot of stuff about telepathy. So we'll see, what happens there with the new studies. They are really thinking it's a real thing now. But anyway, next up we have a man in Fort Worth is a murder suspect. Says he was doing witchcraft to kill his mom. Basically said he was doing a exorcism. Let's just roll it.
A Fort Worth man told police that he was doing an exorcism when he killed his mother.
23-year-old Alexander Taylor Valdez is charged with murder. Documents say he told police he was doing witchcraft to kill her. Fox 4's Amelia Jones in with more. Amelia.
Heather, Steve, the details of this case are so horrifying that even Fort Worth police struggled to talk about it with me today, and neighbors tell me that now they feel unsafe. It was inside this quaint home on Farmers Branch Street that Fort Worth police made a gruesome discovery last Friday around 1:30 a.m. A woman and a dog were found murdered inside. The woman's son was covered in blood and holding a Bible when officers arrived.
Officers then took him into custody, asked him what happened. He then made an utterance that he was performing an exorcism on his mom.
According to arrest documents, 23-year-old Alexander Valdez sent a photo of the scene to a group of people on Snapchat. One of the people who opened it called police out of concern.
Thank God for people that perhaps knew this gentleman and then called us. We were able to get there to detain him.
Dana Adderley lives down the street. Her dogs woke her up that Friday morning.
I came outside and the people that he had sent the group text to were all down there. And this whole block was full of police officers.
Adderley doesn't know Valdez or his mother, 58-year-old Teresita Sayson, but she was shocked to find out the details of what happened.
You know that when they're saying it's an exorcism, you know they're disturbed. It's just they have, there's something more there.
Valdez didn't elaborate to detectives on why he killed his mom, but police say he told them he used witchcraft to kill her and that someone told him to do it. Detectives executing a search warrant found a broken jewelry box with blood in the room where Sayson's body was found. Valdez is now facing murder charges.
I know that their why is not going to be able to be answered.
All right, we don't have to get too much into it, but you get what happened. So, if it wasn't for the Snapchat that he sent out to that group, I wonder what would have come of it, I wonder if this guy even would have been caught, dude. But pretty crazy, right? Performing an exorcism, by the way. Killed his mom. So, next up, we have some German teens traveling to the U.S. jailed and booted after loosely planned vacation deemed suspicious. So these two German youngsters right here were traveling and they were planning to explore the U.S. on vacation. However, they were thrown in jail and then booted from the country after Customs and Border Protection found their loosely planned trip, quote-unquote, suspicious. Charlotte Pohl, 19, and Maria Leperi, 18, arrived in Honolulu, Hawaii on March 18th with plans to travel around the island for 5 days before heading to California, then Costa Rica after their high school graduation, according to the German outlet Outsee Zeitung. However, the teens made the mistake of not booking their accommodations for the entire duration of their stay in Hawaii. That raised a red flag for the U.S. Customs and Border Protection, despite both of them having obtained electronic system for travel authorization. So yeah, they said they were questioned for several hours at the airport. They were even searched. They even had to stay as they were detained, and they said that, they slept on some moldy mattresses and were warned by guards to avoid expired food where they were being held. So apparently they didn't really keep up with that well. The teens then were told that they got to get out. You got to get out of here. So they kicked them out. And then they requested to be sent to Japan. So this is, of course, falls under the new, Trump administration crackdown, I guess you want to say, on foreigners coming into the country. And that's what really sparked it. And so, yeah, I mean, that's really about it. It's just kind of weird and odd because This is totally a new thing now that I guess. So they did warn that if you're coming to the U.S., make sure that you have a complete itinerary of where you're going to go, what you're going to do, and all that good stuff. All right, next up, we have a Florida man offers police booze during a car chase.
Stop!
Don't know if he was expecting us to just say cheers. Richard Christopher Smith, 39, allegedly, it's on film. We're going to watch it, so it's not allegedly. But, so this guy was in the middle of a chase with deputies, and this is what he did in the middle of the chase. So you can see here, he is in the minivan here, and look what happens.
Stop! I'm gonna give you a drink, that's it!
He offered him a seltzer drink.
Looked like a beer or something. He just drove by, he's back towards, I believe, Lakeview.
In the middle of the chase. So, of course, they did finally end up
show me your hands
him
now!
in the end.
Get on the ground now!
After he crashed the vehicle.
Get on the ground! Get on the ground now!
They did tase him to apprehend him. Most likely was highly intoxicated, of course, at the time.
Had fun though, right?
He said you guys had fun though, right? So for him, it was all fun and games. Don't drink and drive, apparently. Florida man casually offered pursuing deputies vodka spritzer in the middle of a car chase after he allegedly stole several items from a convenience store. There's a still shot of him offering the drink to them. Richard Christopher Smith, 39, allegedly took items from a market, including several alcoholic beverages, and walked out. Of course, he was probably drinking them and driving around. It was during this pursuit when Smith held a can of Kettle One vodka spritz out the window as he drove by a deputy, trying to get him to stop, telling the deputy, "I was just going to give you a drink. That's it," as he passed. The sheriff's office said, "We don't know if he was expecting us to say cheers or let him go or what." The chase did end a few minutes later in the parking lot of Sebring Regional Airport. He tried to ram the two patrol cars. All four of his tires were flattened by the spike strips. He was unfazed, obviously, when he got out and calmly talked to him. He did get arrested. He's got several counts, 2 counts of aggravated assault on a law enforcement officer, battery of law enforcement officer, 2 counts of resisting arrest, DUI, and refusal to submit to a DUI test, and petty theft. I don't know why they did not spell that correctly, or that's a weird spelling. But anyway, his bond was set at $120,000. So that's something you don't see very often, but I guess, on par for Florida man. Next up, we have Trump pardons Nevada politician who paid for cosmetic surgery with funds to honor a slain officer. So there she is here. So Trump has pardoned Nevada Republican politician who was awaiting sentencing on federal charges that she used money meant for a statue honoring a slain officer for personal costs, including plastic surgery. Michelle Foria, a former Las Vegas City Councilwoman and state lawmaker who ran unsuccessfully in the 2022 for state treasurer, which is maybe good that she did not get state treasurer, by the way. But anyway, she was found guilty in October of 6 counts of federal wire fraud and 1 count of conspiracy to commit wire fraud. She was out of custody ahead of her sentencing, which had been scheduled for next month. In a lengthy statement Thursday on Facebook, she expressed gratitude for being pardoned, of course. And she said that select media outlets had been on board with a decade-long conspiracy to target and dismantle her life. The pardon was issued Wednesday, came less than a week after she lost a bid for a new trial. So mind you, she was already found guilty and was trying to get a new trial. That was denied. Then she got pardoned. Federal prosecutors said at a trial that Fiore 54 had raised more than $70,000 for a statue of a Las Vegas police officer who was fatally shot in 2014 in the line of duty, but had instead spent some of it on cosmetic surgery, rent, and her daughter's wedding. I mean, that really comes down to about it for the most. She did serve on the state legislature from 2012 to 2016. She was a Las Vegas councilman from 2017 to 2022. While serving as a state lawmaker, she did gain national attention for her support of rancher Cliven Bundy and his family during armed standoffs between militiamen and federal law enforcement officers in Bunkerville, Nevada in 2014, and Malheur, Oregon in 2016. So definitely supports the radical side of things. Next up, this was a user submitted story in the Discord. Online streamer busted for carving Kick.com into historic Grand Canyon landmark. Exclusive, the damage caused by carving this inscription into the rock is permanent and cannot be undone, according to the National Park Service affidavit reviewed by the Independent. Social media influencer live streaming his visit to the Grand Canyon is now facing federal charges for defacing a historic archaeological landmark while he broadcasts the alleged crime to thousands of viewers. Kick.com personality Than Kang No, who goes by Crazy Ton online, used a rock to etch Kick.com into an ancient sandstone formation in Horseshoe Bend, a revered attraction near Page, Arizona, according to the probable cause affidavit first obtained by the Independent. The crude graffitiado measured 36 inches long by 6 inches tall and was dug into the soft stone by as much as a quarter inch, says the affidavit, which was unsealed on Thursday. It was done purposefully and with blatant disregard for the preservation of national resources, according to the affidavit. The damage caused by carving this inscription into the rock is permanent and cannot be undone. It says nothing that Crazy Ton live streamed his entire interaction with the National Park Service ranger, who later caught up with him at a local motel. So says that he was unable to be reached for comment. His public defender, Sarah Erlander, was out of the office on Thursday and did not respond to an emailed request. On his Kick channel, his bio invites users to dive into a world of IRL streaming with me as I navigate car life in my trusty Prius, explore the wonders of our beautiful planet, one stream at a time. Also goes on to say that he has 30,000 followers on the platform, where he hit an all-time record in December 2023, clocking in at 525,000 viewers. Last year, he was taken to task by outraged viewers after he claimed to have been abusing a dog. His alleged wrongdoings at Horseshoe Bend first came to the attention of law enforcement by way of an anonymous tip submitted to the MPS online portal on January 5th, according to the affidavit. Most likely it was a viewer while he was live streaming it. The tipster did say they had watched the live stream And then about 7 hours in, he could be seen scratching Kick.com into the sandstone. There is footage on there. And he could be seen walking down the trail, throwing rocks. The affidavit goes on. He then approached a portion of the sandstone, carved the words into it. The video clearly shows the suspect by himself analyzing the sandstone. Goes on and on. So anyway, it does say that other streams showed him traveling to a Best Western in Page, Arizona, according to the affidavit. And it says that's where the ranger rendezvoused with the local police and spotted him in the parking lot. He was packing up his car, yada, yada, yada. He admitted to defacing and vandalizing national resource located and stated he did not know it was illegal. He also stated that due to there being other vandalism in the area, he thought it was okay to do so. The National Park Service takes misconduct complaints extremely serious. In 2023, men were permanently banned from Yellowstone after they were caught cooking chickens in one of the park's famed thermal hot springs. Earlier this year, a pair of tourists were found guilty of damaging 140 million year old sandstone formations in Nevada's Lake Mead National Park. Crazy Tom was issued a citation for vandalism, a misdemeanor. If convicted, though, he faces up to a year behind bars and a $100,000 fine. He is due to make his initial court appearance on Friday. So we will see how that one plays out. Like I said, I just got this. This was right before the broadcast today. So that's why I read a little bit more of it. I didn't really pre-read any of it. So we'll have to see how that plays out. Next up, and the last one in the crime news, speaking of kicking, this is pretty wild. So it's a ruse. Expected, it wasn't. Paralyzed man cleared from kicking indoor. We'll watch a little bit of the video and then we'll just kind of go over it. But police arrested Charles Reed after Catherine Jensen accused him of kicking in her door, attacking her, and fleeing on foot. So we'll watch
News now at 7. A Metro Atlanta Police Department now under fire for how it investigated an alleged attack and home invasion.
So what happened?
He kicked in the door. I ran. He choked me out.
An Atlanta News First investigation uncovered evidence that woman may have fabricated her story. Investigative reporter Andy Parati found it led to the arrest of a man who says he is innocent.
536 confirming you're advising signal 20 front door.
College Park police respond to a home in June 2024.
Oh, thank God.
All right, how you doing?
After Catherine Jensen says her ex-boyfriend attacked her minutes before they arrived.
So what happened?
He kicked in the door. I ran. He choked me out. Tried to get the keys from my hand of my truck.
So he grabbed you by your neck?
Mm-hmm. Handle him myself. I'm too small.
You say he kicked the door in?
He did.
Charles Reed is the man Catherine claimed broke into her home and assaulted her.
She said I kicked in the door.
It gets wild, y'all.
Why is that a problem? Because I'm in a wheelchair and have been for 25 years.
Oh, come there.
Charles cannot move his legs. He's paraplegic following an accident when he was a teenager. Andrew Fleischman is Charles' attorney.
She describes that he's of average build.
Tall, short.
Average height.
That he has brown hair. That he's in black clothing.
So all black.
I want to.
All right, so we're not going to get. We don't have to watch this entire part, but you get the gist of it. So he's been paralyzed for 25 years. He said that they did date one time, but haven't had contact with each other in over 20 years. Of course, how can he do that if he's in a wheelchair? And she never mentioned anything about being in a wheelchair, which you would think that would be one of the first things that she would come up with. Well, let's go on with the story a little bit more here. Or wait, actually, it's if we cut ahead in here.
For his
Here, we'll
arrest
cut
for
ahead a little bit
aggravated
here,
assault until the federal
Sorry.
government alerted him when he tried to renew his passport. So he
didn't know he had a warrant out for his arrest. No one contacted him. He went to go renew his passport, then found out that he had a warrant for his arrest for allegedly assaulting this woman. It gets crazier, but basically he went ahead and turned himself in because clearly he was innocent, because he couldn't have done what she said from a wheelchair. Basically, it got a little wilder that, like, basically they kind of, like, told him he was faking and that he needed to get up and walk and everything. At one point, he heard a supervising officer saying, "It's a ruse, man. It's obviously an attempt not to go to jail." But another officer pushed back. You may want to call the attorney's office because if the door was kicked in, he didn't kick it in. I could have broken my hip and died very quickly. He said body camera video later showed that she did have doubts about his story. Now it's looking like, that the officer did have doubts about her story. Now it's looking like she made a false account, blah, 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 blah. So anyway, she already had a prior record, of course. And it took a while, though, but now he's finally been cleared. There is also a part where he was in the police office. He was on the floor, and obviously he couldn't get up or anything, trying to prove, like, dude, I can't walk or anything. But amazing that it took that long. But of course, he didn't know that he had the warrants out for his arrest. So, yeah. Next up, we're getting into the AI and tech news, guys. As we go along, we're gonna get better at this, y'all. I promise. Okay, we're working on this new format. We're gonna get it down, y'all. But anyway, next up, we have a stroke survivor speaks again with the help of experimental brain-computer implant. There she is, right there. There's the brain implant. So, scientists have developed a device that can translate thoughts about speech into spoken words in real time. Although it's still experimental, they hope the brain-computer interface could someday help give voice to those unable to speak. A new study described testing the device on a 47-year-old woman with quadriplegia who couldn't speak for 18 years after a stroke. Doctors implanted it in her brain during a surgery as part of a clinical trial. What it does is it converts her intent to speak into fluent sentences. Other brain-computer interfaces, or BCIs, for speech typically have a slight delay between thoughts of sentences and computerized verbalization. Such delays can disrupt the natural flow of conversation, potentially leading to miscommunication and frustration. However, this is a really big advance because it basically sits in the speech center of the brain so that it's listening in, and those signals are translated into pieces of speech that make up sentences. It's quote-unquote new streaming approach. Takes about 80 millisecond chunk of speech, about half of a syllable, sent into the recorder. So it's super fast. So it's a very, very significant advance to natural speech. It's not waiting for the sentence to finish before it's processing the speech. So there's no delay at all. So that's what makes it really, really significant. So this could be the future, y'all. This could be the future. I don't think it's perfect at this point from what I read, but it's like pretty dang good. And what they did is they kind of like studied her brain patterns. Like they asked her to think of speaking, and then they I stuttered, but they studied the brain patterns of her, like thinking of the speech, and that helped train it. So, speaking of AI, meet AI Jesus. So we just had Easter earlier this week. Meet AI Jesus, real-time video conservationists with a virtual savior. New AI chatbot offers users a humorous and surreal interaction with the digital Jesus, blending faith with consumerism. The new chatbot-based AI Jesus provides consumers the opportunity to video call a digital version of Jesus Christ. The new platform incorporates aspects of spirituality, technology, and consumerism, and presents a satirical reflection of spiritual consumerism. So the site is AIJesus.live if you guys are interested. The creator said, we want AI Jesus to feel like it's the real Jesus talking to you. We fine-tune his personality and speaking style in a way we hope is authentic. The Instagram bio of the AI Jesus page mentions, thou speaketh, he answereth, he pluggeth the product, enlightenment, endorsements, amen. The product endorsement started as a joke, but the more we leaned into it, the more we realized it was revealing something profound. It became a satire on spiritual consumerism, and that made the whole project feel more powerful. And it is powerful unexpectedly so. While AI Jesus is frequently hilarious, there's a real depth between the digital robe. The artists have nailed a delicate balance between reverence and ridicule, keeping things intentionally absurd without tipping into outright blasphemy. Not sure how y'all might feel about that. I think you're treading on, shady waters right there. But, that's just me. Okay, next up. So I don't know if you guys saw this video. I actually saw this video, didn't have any clue what it was about, but a video of a driver falls 12 meters off an incomplete bridge after following Google Map directions. So you guys might have seen this video. I know I did, and I had no clue about it, but check it out. Did y'all see this video with this car just flying across this highway right here? I don't know if y'all saw this video or not. Like I said, I saw this video and I was like, what is going on? Didn't have a clue. But here's the car speeding along and boom.
Jatuh terjun dari atas tol Kebo Mas, terjun dari atas, meloncat serut, jatuh ke bawah, sudah ditangani, korban selamat.
Landed it, I guess, but not feeling it. So yeah, on April 5th, an unusual and dangerous incident or accident in Indonesia has left many shocked after a 61-year-old man and his co-pilot fell 12 meters off a bridge after following Google Maps directions exactly. The incident occurred while the driver was heading to a friend's house completely trusting the route suggested by the Maps app. According to CNN, the app suddenly changed direction mid-trip, taking them straight to an unfinished bridge. Unaware of the danger, the driver continued moving forward as the result was obviously to jump off and fall into the thing. Fortunately, the car landed in a clear area. Like, it didn't hit any other cars. That's crazy. Despite the 12-meter fall and the total destruction of the car, both the driver and his 46-year-old passenger suffered only minor injuries. This isn't the first time the GPS-based app or Google Maps has led to such a mishap. In a similar case, Virali, Uttar Pradesh, on November 21st, 2024, 3 men lost their lives after Google Maps allegedly directed them onto an incomplete bridge that led straight into a river. The car plunged into the water, resulting in a fatal crash. So, yeah, it could have been way worse. Definitely could have been way worse. Definitely could have been way worse. We're just going to briefly go over the headline of this one, but so Gen Z is now thinking that AI is making college degrees useless. And they do have a point. So, imagine putting yourself through all the college debt and everything, and then finding out that your job basically might be replaced here by AI. So research, a whopping 52% of U.S. job postings on Indeed didn't require a formal education. That's 4% increase from 48% in 2019. What's more is the percentage of U.S. job postings require at least a college degree decreased from 20.4% to 17.8% in the last 5 years. So that's great news for those of us that don't have a college degree. However, many college graduates are desperately trying to pay off their student loans, while simultaneously competing against debt-free non-grads for jobs. And then in addition to that, it's no wonder that many job hunters are blaming AI. Because obviously a lot of people, as we have talked about on previous episodes, are using ChatGPT for writing, researching, graphic design, even therapy now people are using ChatGPT for. So they're feeling like, what's the point of going to college, basically? And I don't really blame them. So, I mean, we'll see what happens, but they're definitely feeling that their college degrees are basically useless. So, all right, next up, we have an Uber driver that drove away with her kid. And that's not the really craziest part of this story, but Uber wouldn't connect her. Yeah, exactly. Uber wouldn't connect her with the police. Wouldn't connect her to... Blah, blah, blah. Let me start over. So, lady in Toronto, 5-year-old was in the back seat. Okay, her and her boyfriend, they had 4 kids in the car. Kid was all the way in the back seat. The lady told the Uber driver, here's what's going to happen. She's going to get these kids out, and I'm going to go to my car, hit the garage door opener, open the garage door. We're going to come back and get the last kid. Uber driver, I guess, didn't really pay attention to that when everyone got out of the vehicle, including the lady to go open the garage door, and the guy unloaded the other 3 kids. Uber driver takes off with the last kid all the way in the back seat of the Uber. Apparently it was a 3-seater vehicle. Like three rows. She remembered looking down the street and nobody was there. Vehicle was gone. Kids are freaking out. Where'd he go? Where'd he take my sister? Yada, yada, yada. But where it gets really weird and messed up, she contacts Uber and she's like, I need to be contacted with the police and the driver. I need my kid, yada, yada, yada. And Uber told her, yeah, sorry. That's against our policy. That's not how we do things. Sorry. Can't help you. So, she called 911. The police came. The police did call Uber. They did get the driver's information. We're able to contact them. It took a little while, though. And then everything was sorted out. Everything was okay. But the girl was brought back in an ambulance because she was hysterical. Because she was asleep in the back seat when all this originally first happened. So what does Uber do? Uber says we're going to give you a $10 credit for the inconvenience. We're sorry what happened. Let's go! Arco! Let's go with the Big 28 raid on Twitch. We are doing the Weird Not News. Oh, man. Thank you. I appreciate you. I hope you had a great stream. I appreciate you so much, man. Thank you so much. Let's go. We are in the middle of the Weird and Not News. It's a little segment that we do 2 times a week. We are multi-streaming, and we're bringing it to Twitch. So we talk about the unconventional news on the Weird and Not News. So thank you so much, Arco. Shout out to Arco, dude. Amazing guy, dude. Inspiration for me when it comes to live streaming. Cheers, brother. I appreciate you. Keystone for you. I appreciate you, man. That was very unexpected. Thank you. I appreciate you. So, this is Human Interface TV. We are live right now on Kick and YouTube as well. And I do a lot of IRL streaming. I'm a van lifer. So I do a lot of van life stuff, IRL, gaming, all that kind of stuff, travel. And we are doing this segment, the Weird and Not News, which we're bringing to Twitch now. So thank you so much, man. I appreciate you. Silent Arm, thank you so much. Hope y'all had a great stream. I think you playing Oblivion today. Hopefully that went well for you. I have yet to check it out. So yeah, we're in the middle of this particular story in Toronto where this young girl was left in the back of an Uber while the mom had stated the plan to the Uber driver that we're going to have the boyfriend clear out the other kids. I'm going to open the garage door. We're going to come back and get the young kid. The driver took off. She tried calling Uber. Uber said it's against our policy to connect you with the police and the driver. We can't help you. And so then she called 911. Police did get a hold of the driver. It was a 5-year-old girl in the car. And where we were at was that she was unharmed, which is good. And she was returned to them in an ambulance because she was hysterical, guys. She was freaking out. She had no idea what was going on. And Uber's response to this, like I said, was giving the boyfriend, because it was under his Uber account, a $10 credit. So now Uber has said that, we apologize. We know it must have been like a distressing thing. We're looking into the details. We're going to try to revise. our support system and our processes to help this not happen again in the future. So kind of whack, kind of crazy. So Julia, the mom, is going after him. She said she made it very clear that you could offer me $1 million. If there's no policy changes, I will not be accepting that. I need to see a policy change here. No one should have to go through what we went through. So she's not even really concerned about the money at all. But she is going after them to change the policy. Yeah, it's pretty messed up. I would say we would watch the video, but we're a little behind. So we're going to keep on moving on with the business and financial news of the weird and not news. So this is the off the wall news, guys. This isn't your average stuff you're going to hear in the news all the time. Next up, we have a man, and this one's really weird. I don't really understand the strategy here, and I'm not sure anyone else really gets the strategy either. But a man sent a credit card to a woman for 10 seconds on LinkedIn. Here's what happened next. The woman said that she wasn't sure what the man was trying to test. However, she added that her imagination took over in those 10 seconds. So her post is here. A man sent me his credit card on LinkedIn. Yes, this is a real story. No, I wasn't prepared either. A gentleman slid into my DMs and said, "I'm sending you my credit card for 10 seconds. If you can load, you can do shopping with this." No, I don't know if he was testing my internet speed, my moral compass, or my reflexes from Squid Game Train. In those 10 seconds, I added a standing desk to stand up for women in marketing, wondered if I should buy a mic to narrate this saga as a podcast, and closed the tab like I close emotional availability, swiftly and without warning. Scroll through skincare because healing for those trauma needs retinol. If sending your credit card is your idea of networking, please know my internet may be fast, but my morals are faster. So that was her post on LinkedIn about it. Her witty response to the unusual request has now gone viral in the comments section. While some shared humorous reactions, others shared similar stories. An influencer sent me a DM saying I commented on his post, so he wanted to transfer me money as a gift. I politely refused twice. He insisted until I blocked him, wrote one user. When I was younger, I talked to a guy online. It was quite direct with him, just my natural personality. He asked for my email and then sent me 100 pounds via PayPal. I then realized he thought I was a Dom and I had to swiftly refund him, shared another user. This is Pink. LinkedIn meets Squid Game, meets skincare humor. Absolute gold fast internet, faster morals, and faster wit. Commented a third user. That's why I always keep stuff RS1 lack in my cart. I'm not sure what that means, but I'm guessing that they got stuff ready to check out so that they can instantly buy everything if the same incident happens someday. Another user wrote. So like I said, I don't know what the point of that was. I don't know if anyone actually knows, but apparently that's a thing, to just send random women money. Again, another reason why I kind of wish I was born with different equipment, if you know what I'm saying. Life would be a little bit different, man, you know what I'm saying? But anyway, next up, we have a woman quits job after boss demands GPS hospital photos during family emergency. It's a thing? That's crazy. I had no idea that's a thing. So, this one's kind of crazy. So, workplace incident has gone viral online, sparking outrage over employee rights and workplace empathy. After a woman revealed that her manager demanded GPS location, hospital photos, and medical prescriptions while she was attending a family emergency. She shared it on X. In a follow-up post, she revealed that she did eventually quit. When I told him he was being disrespectful, he got offended and said, I have an attitude problem. Then he repeated the line, Tom Ni Sergey Kanye Neith, whatever. Obviously, this is not in, I think this is in India, is where this happened, is in India. Oh, look, the post is no longer found. They must have took the post down. Why? So, long story short, it's basically, she was having a family member that was getting, I believe, chemotherapy and whatnot, and wanted to be there by her side, and they asked for all that information. I need 2 seconds. I got to take care of something. Sorry. My apologies. My apologies, y'all. Y'all can read through the story while I'm doing my thing here real quick. I'll be right back. And this is a lot longer than I thought it was going to take to get through the news today. So my apologies. My apologies. My apologies. Okay. Okay, now we're good. Sorry. So anyway, she actually did already. It seems like they cut this article. Like since I looked at it earlier. And it looks like they got rid of the post too. Is it gone? Yeah, look. Oh, they must have got some heat, dude, or got some flack on the social media. So I wonder what's going on with this, because a lot of the story is cut. A lot of the story's cut. And her post is gone now. But anyway, she did say that she had knew this was upcoming. It doesn't even share the details of, I'm sorry, it was cancer surgery, not chemotherapy, but cancer surgery. And she did already inform her team lead that she was going to be needing some time to deal with it. So, pretty crazy, but wow, that got butchered by the authors and whatever. All right, last bit of financial and business news here. We got a couple lottery stories. We always cover the interesting lottery stories. So, lost debit card leads Washington man to $480,000 lottery prize. Washington man said losing and finding his debit card led to his winning a $480,000 lottery prize. A Marysville man told the Washington lottery officials he got home from a trip to Winco Foods on 116th Street Northeast in Marysville, realized he didn't have a debit card. He returned to the store, where he was relieved to find employees had found the card and kept it safe. He said, "This is my lucky day. I should buy some lottery tickets." One of the players purchases a Hit 5 ticket, ended up matching all 5 numbers in the drawing, earning him $480,000 cash pot. The winner said his prize money will go toward crossing off some bucket list items, including a trip to Japan and exploring the East Coast of the United States. All right, last financial news here. One more lottery story, actually. Ticket mistake earns man $1 million lottery prize, by the way. A Michigan man said a store cashier's mistake turned out to be lucky when the scratch-off lottery ticket he didn't ask for turned out to be a $1 million winner. The 45-year-old Van Buren County man told Michigan lottery officials he asked for a specific scratch off lottery ticket at the Speedway gas station. I play cash word tickets occasionally, but purchasing this ticket was a total fluke, the player said. I asked the cashier for a different game, and she mistakenly handed this major cash word ticket instead. When she realized she gave me the wrong ticket, she offered to give me the game I'd asked for, but I told her I'll just keep the major cash word ticket instead. The man said the decision proved fortuitous. Next morning, I scratched the barcode and my wife scanned the ticket on her lottery app. When the $1 million came up on the screen, I felt like I couldn't breathe. I thought it was some sort of prank, he said. The winner had an unconventional method of keeping his prize ticket safe. Once I realized it was real, I put the ticket in a jar and buried it in the yard because I was so paranoid something would happen if I kept it in the house. The winner said the prize money will go toward paying off the house, paying bills, and saving for retirement. All right, guys, general news now. Got a lot of general news and then a few animal stories, and then we are done for the night. So, this one's interesting, dude. Army suspends Wisconsin training base first female commander after Trump portrait flipped on the wall. U.S. Army has suspended a Wisconsin training base first female commander after discovering portraits of Donald Trump and Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth had been flipped around to face the wall. So she took the face of the picture and she turned it around, and so the back of the picture was facing out. Department of Defense on April 14 posted pictures on X showing the portraits on the base chain of command wall had been turned to face the wall. Regarding the Fort McCory chain of command wall controversy, we fixed it, the post read. Also, an investigation has begun to figure out exactly what happened. No one immediately returned an email and voicemail message to the Associated Press left for Fort McCoy public affairs officials on Wednesday morning. But Bez Martinez assumed the role of garrison commander at Fort McCoy in July 2024 after serving as chief of the reserve program of the U.S. Army Intelligence and Security Command in Fort Belvoir, Virginia. She was commissioned as a military intelligence officer through the Reserve Officer Training Corps in 1999, holds a bachelor's degree in psychology, mental health from the University of Puerto Rico. So she holds numerous citations and decorations, including Defensive Meritorious Service Medal, National Defense Service Medal, and a Korean Defense Medal. She served as Chief Operations of the Army's River Command at Fort Bragg in North Carolina. Deputy Commander at the 501st Military Intelligence Brigade and Deputy Chief of Special United States Liaison Advisor Korea at Camp Humphreys in the Republic of Korea. So, yeah, she has since dude, again, I feel like this was edited. Does it say it was edited, bro? Can I see when it was edited? No, it doesn't. But anyway, so yeah. I mean, realistically, as a former personnel of the armed forces, I don't know. Feel mixed about it, but you don't have that type of freedom of expression. You know, it's not like a regular job. And that's your chain of command, and you shouldn't disrespect the chain of command. So, you know, we'll see what happens. But I swear it said, dude. Yeah, well, it just says that she was suspended. So I thought that it was worse than that the first time I read it, but, you know, most likely it was definitely kind of called for.
Italy's first ever intimate room for prisoners
so.
officially.
All right, so Italy has now opened a sex room for prisoners.
Italy's first ever intimate room for prisoners officially opened on Friday when an inmate received a private visit from his partner in a specially designated area at a prison in the central Umbria region, Reuters reported. The move follows a landmark constitutional court ruling recognizing the right of inmates to have intimate encounters with partners visiting from outside the prison system. In its January 2024 decision, the court declared that inmates should be entitled to private visits with spouses or long-term partners without the presence of prison guards. The ruling emphasized that conjugal visits are already permitted in most European countries, including France, Germany, Spain, the Netherlands, Sweden, and others. Last week, the Italian Ministry of Justice issued guidelines for implementing the ruling. These state that eligible inmates must be provided with a private room equipped with a bed and toilet for a period of up to 2 hours. While privacy is to be respected, the door is to remain unlocked, allowing staff to intervene if necessary. We're pleased that everything went smoothly, said Giuseppe Caforio, the prisoner ombudsman for Umbria, speaking to news agency INSA. But it's essential to maintain maximum confidentiality to protect those involved. Italy's prison system continues to face severe overcrowding, among the worst in Europe, with a recent spike in inmate suicides. Official figures show that the country currently holds over 62,000 inmates, exceeding official capacity by more than 21%.
Those are going to be busy rooms if they are overcrowded like that. If they're overcrowded like that, those rooms are going to be very busy, I would imagine. All right, next up, we have, this one's pretty crazy. A man swings at the edge of a crane in downtown Austin. So, it's kind of short one, but in brief, a man was seen swinging on the edge of a construction crane in downtown Austin. The incident happened in the 400 block of Guadalupe Street on April 20th. APD said no arrests have been made. So this is just kind of a cool, crazy video.
This video
whatever,
of a man swinging from a construction crane high above downtown Austin was recorded by Jack Zimmerman Sunday morning. Zimmerman was in a high-rise across from a building known as the Republic. Work crews were back Monday at the 48-story building. The video from Sunday was posted on a social media site and quickly went viral. Among those who viewed the post was Eric Tucker.
I thought that was pretty crazy. I thought maybe it's a new form of base jumping.
Do you think it was real?
No, I thought it was AI. But then again, I don't know. It's just crazy people nowadays.
Several people were in Republic Square Sunday and witnessed the stunt.
I could not watch after I saw him dangling there because I thought he was going to cut the cable or whatever.
You just thought he was going to jump?
Yeah, I did.
The man made several wide swings from the crane. If you look close, a selfie stick appears to be in one of his hands.
So
and on the crane's arm,
POV?
there appears to be a second person watching as the
is
man swings below.
I want to know how he got up there. I mean, and did you see the selfie pole too?
Right.
I want to see his perspective.
There have been other cases of crane climbing in Austin back in September of 2023. First responders brought a man down from a site along 6th Street. A year earlier, at the Republic site, a man was arrested and charged with trespassing.
I wonder if it's the same
Sunday's
guy
incident may be a familiar criminal act, but it was still frightening for those who gathered around a nearby coffee shop.
It was crazy. We were all very scared, just staring up there the whole time, worried he was going to fall, but luckily he didn't. And
you guys get it. That's all there is to it. I mean, there's not anything else to it. So, next up, this one is crazy right here. So speaking of swinging, or I guess, you know, the thought of falling, 80-year-old woman falls from 6th floor apartment and survives unscathed. An 80-year-old woman from, I'm gonna let the AI handle this part right here.
Yekaterinburg, Russia.
Yekaterinburg, Russia. So an 80-year-old woman from Yekaterinburg, Russia can call herself lucky to be alive after falling from the window of her 6th-floor apartment and landing on top of a parked car. The incident occurred last Thursday as the unnamed octogenarian, I guess 80-year-old, that's a fancy word for 80-year-old, octogenarian, anyways, was cleaning the windows of her apartment. A single moment of carelessness was enough to send her tumbling down from the 6th floor onto a neighbor's car. The shocking fall was captured by CCTV cameras and has been making the rounds on Russian social media ever since. Amazingly, mere moments after landing on the roof of the parked car, the 80-year-old woman manages to climb down and walk away, seemingly unscathed. She subsequently asked a neighbor for help and was admitted to the local hospital to ensure she was all right. There's the vehicle right here. And do y'all want to see it? Do y'all want to see it? I know y'all want to see it. No. Bro. Bro. Oh my God. Dude, that's insane, bro. That's insane, dude. So yeah. So the investigation established that the elderly woman fell from the window due to carelessness. The victim was hospitalized in a medical center and is receiving necessary assistance. The police are still investigating the case still, however. Pretty fucking crazy, right? All right, well, this a few days ago, this last weekend was 420, so brought up some stuff about the good old marijuana, the good old weed smoking. Will smoking weed when you're young make you dumb when you're old? This is a thing that people always debate about, talk about, question about, and discuss. If you're young, if you smoke weed, is it going to make you dumb? Well, there has been a study that surveyed 5,162 men who were born between 1949 and 1961 who started smoking weed when they were young. Not only did they show signs of cognitive decline later in life, but adults who regularly smoked weed showed no more cognitive decline than those who didn't smoke. Or I'm sorry, they did not. I think I said did. But those who stated smoking weed that were born between 1949 and 1961 did not show signs of cognitive decline later in life. But adults who regularly smoked weed showed no cognitive decline than those who didn't smoke. So in other words, it's a farce, dude. It's not a real thing. The only real tangible difference between the two groups is that the group who smoked on average had an IQ was 1.3 points lower than those who didn't. While people generally do put way too much weight on the result of an IQ test, the difference between the two groups was not significant. Researchers note that there are some drawbacks to the study, like how it only studied men. Despite this limitation, the researchers say the results still fall in line with a few recent studies that did include women, particularly an Australian study and another one from the US, all of which found that smoking when you're young has little to no effect on your brain later in life. So, there you go. I guess it doesn't really affect you. And that has been a thing that's been a very big debate of discussion. So, next, though, moving on with the weed stuff, meet NYC's weed loving over 60s. As seniors are using marijuana more than ever. So it's not just the young folks doing it, the old folks are doing it too. To be blunt, but Gail Sensheli hated marijuana as a teen growing up on Long Island. Tried it, never liked it. Janelle Zensheli, 64, told the Post. Now it's part of her nightly routine. The Deer Park resident takes 60 milligrams of gummies infused with THC, the main active ingredient of marijuana, before bed to relieve chronic throbbing in her tailbone. 60 milligrams. What does that equal? That's a lot, bro. I mean, for an old lady, that's a lot. But anyway, she's part of a budding group of seniors who use cannabis to relax, ease pain, sleep better, and to manage their mental health. The growing interest in weed products follows the widespread decriminalization of marijuana, which has helped to elevate public opinion of the herb. About 8% of seniors 65 and older caught to marijuana use in the last year, per a 2022 federal survey, much higher than the 0.4% reported in 2007. Cannabis is now perceived as quote-unquote safer than alcohol and other drugs, despite experts' warnings of the potential for cardiovascular and respiratory issues. A new study out of Canada released just in time for 420 found that pot-related medical visits increased nearly 27-fold among adults 65 and older from 2008 to 2021. Ganja fans needing hospital-based care were at a much higher risk of developing dementia, the researchers determined. Regular cannabis use might directly increase the risk of dementia, though through changes in the brain structure. It's also possible the regular cannabis use increases the risk of other established risk factors for dementia, including high blood pressure, head trauma, and other injuries, and a higher risk for depression. And biggest problem is blah, 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 blah. So whatever, dude. Kind of conflicting, right? Kind of a conflicting thing, but it's amazing to see people my age out there enjoying their medicine. They're relaxed, they're chill. Said Toronto, the host of the OG Social Network podcast, which fosters dialogue within the New York cannabis community. People my age are like kids in a candy store. Indeed, seniors represent a high percentage of the business at the New York City dispensaries. They say they served more than 800 customers over 65 since March 1st, the oldest 93. My experience working in the dispensary, you do have a lot of older folks for sure. But anyway, we'll see. I think these studies are kind of bullshit, bro. Maybe both of them, but that's all we're going to get into on that. Speaking of intoxication, y'all know Deadmau5, right? Great DJ. He streams, he actually streams too on Twitch. But Deadmau5 apologizes for drunken Coachella DJ set and says it's probably his last. I don't remember a thing. The Canadian-born artist Joel Thomas Zimmerman performed with Zoo, I don't know, I'm not up with this shit, at Coachella's Quasar stage on April 18th. Long story short, He went up. He says he remembers about the first quarter of his set DJing. And then after that, basically he blacked out. He had to get escorted off the stage. He said that Zoo had introduced him to whiskey, and that was the cause of the problem. So yeah, he blacked out. Basically, had to be removed off the stage. He did issue a couple of apologies. First one, he posted a bottle of water on Instagram. He said, "I don't remember a thing, but I don't think I had a cig." So that's good, I guess. Going back to bed. Wake me up Thursday-ish. Then he also posted another one. It's not showing here, of his dog as well. And his dog's giving a funny look. And he said, I guess my dog's disappointed in me too. So he kind of made a thing of it. He said he's going to try to quit smoking cigarettes. On top of that, he's just going to get back to making music. And that might be the last Coachella affair for him. So we'll see. Kind of, funny, I thought, whatever. Next up, this is a weird new trend, guys. It's called hot wifing. I don't know if y'all have heard of hot wifing or not. Hot wifing, guys. Hot wifing is a new trend. Let's watch the video.
I liked kind of just watching her play. Kind of like letting your friend test drive your car. He gets to see how well it rides. He's got to give it back, but it creates kind of like a sense of pride.
Just a little taste.
Yeah, you get a little taste of what my life is like.
Before we met, I didn't have a lot of experience with anything in the realm of kinky. Like, it was always stuff I wanted to do, but didn't have partners that were willing, or it just wasn't right, because you just have to know the intentions. And I never had that with anybody before. But I was always very open, like, wanted to do it, but
yeah, I think that kind of touches back on, we were super open with one another in the beginning of,
All right, we don't need to watch the whole video. So hot wifing, bro, let it go. So regular couples are taking ethical non-monogamy to the next level by entering the adult industry as part of X-rated experiment to enhance their marriages. A group of husbands have teamed up with adult website Wifey so that their wives can have sex with professional male porn stars on camera as part of a new trend called hot wifing. Hot wifing, which is a modern take on cuckolding, is when men let their attractive wives have sex with other men as they watch. Like the one guy said, it's like letting your friend test drive your car. I don't think it's the same thing myself, but you heard him say it. It's like letting your friend test drive your car. He gets to take it for a ride. He gets to see how good you got it, and da 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 da. Yeah. So I don't know. That's a thing, though. Hot wifing. If you guys are interested in it, check out more of it. That's all I really want to talk about it. But yeah, it's a thing. It's a thing. All right. Next up, we do have one world record today. Australian woman's collection of minions earns her a world record. There's her collection right there. There's her collection right there of all her minions. That's all her minions right there. That's all her minions right there. So, Australian woman earned a Guinness World Record for her collection of 1,035 minions, the little yellow mischief makers from the Despicable. I remember laughing so much at the cute little pill-shaped, huge impression on me, she told the Guinness World Records. I'm just a big kid at heart. Since then, I've always been on the lookout for minions everywhere I go. They did confirm that she is now the holder of the record for the largest minion memorabilia. Yeah, we don't really have to get into it more than that. So we'll move on to the next one. This one could have been in a couple of different categories, but the Trump store is now offering Trump 2028 hats. So this is the official Trump store. And he's got Trump 2028 hats on there. This, of course, is causing some controversy. There is some videos on it, whether he could have a third term or not. We're not going to get into all that stuff. We're not talking the political stuff here. We're just talking that it's kind of wild and crazy, dude, that you could buy a Trump 2028 hat. The only thing we will say about it, though, included in the scenario that he did say that he could run again or whatever, is that if J.D. Vance ran as president and then he would be as his running mate, but then basically he would take over if he got elected. So, but he says he doesn't even want to talk about it. There's a long way to go before then and a lot to think about before then. So he didn't really say, though, actually why the hat was on there. But kind of weird that it's on there. And that's really all there fucking is to it. There's not a whole lot more to it. So, all right, we got a few animal news stories here, and then we are good to go, guys. Bootleg beavers, feral pigs, and DIY links. Is UK rewilding gone off the rails? I'm just going to sum this one up for y'all. So in the past few months, there's been 2 suspected lynx releases, feral pigs roaming the Carmarthenshires in UK, and beaver bombing on English rivers, a trend that sounds cute until you realize it means smuggling semi-aquatic rodents into ecosystems that aren't ready for them. So basically, I don't know what you'd call it. Yeah, I don't know. They're calling it an ecological punk show, I guess, or whatever. I'm not sure what you would call it. But basically, people are just letting these animals loose in the UK. They think, hey, these animals belong in the wild, and we're just going to let them go. And some groups are raising cash, they're buying land, and they're trying to do it the right way, while other people are just straight up letting them loose in the wild in the UK. But it's not a good thing, guys. If an animal's never been in the wild before, you can't just release them into the wild and expect everything to be okay. You know what I'm trying to say? So, it's causing a big problem. But it's gaining momentum, and it seems like hopefully they're going to try to do it the right way. But also there's similar efforts gaining momentum, like residents blocking housing developments, turning it into a DIY nature reserve, complete with rescued hedgehogs, bat colonies, butterflies, meadow grown over concrete. So, I mean, it seems like they have, I guess, the right idea in mind, but you can't just rewild animals that aren't used to the wild, is the bottom line on that one. So hopefully they, get more sanctioned stuff and it goes well. Meanwhile, zebra donkey hybrid caught on camera after escaping from a Michigan farm. Again, these are, we kind of do these ones at the end just to kind of break the ice, make some funny stuff. And check it out. Have you ever seen a zonkey before? There you go. It's a zebra donkey on the loose in Michigan. You just saw a little glimpse of it there. Just a little glimpse of it there, but Michigan resident home security camera captured footage of an unusual escaped animal on the loose. A Z-donk, a hybrid of a zebra and a donkey. Blackman Leone Township Police said officers responded early Tuesday morning to reports of what appeared to be a donkey blocking traffic. They arrived to find the animal was a Z-donk, a hybrid with a donkey father and a zebra mother. The hybrid is not to be confused with a zonkey, which is a zebra father and a donkey mother. So I got it backwards. The Z-donk, which has escaped from nearby farm, was in a pasture on the north to the north of the road where it was originally reported. But anyway, occasional escapees are just part of livestock farming. One local resident security camera captured the video of it, and that's what we watched. It was not injured during the time on while it was on the loose, and they got it back home, and everything's good now. All right, last one here on the animal news we got. This is kind of wild, y'all. Wild chimps. So kind of literally wild chimps sharing boozy fruit. So there they are. For the first time, wild chimpanzees have been pictured eating and sharing fruit containing alcohol. Research team at the University of Exeter set up cameras in Guinea's Basua Cantahas National Park, whatever y'all fucking did it at, but whatever. Footage of chimps sharing fermented African red fruit, confirmed to contain ethanol alcohol, raises fascinating questions about if and why chimps deliberately seek out alcohol. New studies suggest our closest relatives might be doing something similar. For humans, we know that drinking alcohol leads to release of dopamine and endorphins, resulting in feelings of happiness and relaxation. We also know that sharing alcohol, including through traditions such as feasting, helps to form and strengthen social bonds. So now we know that wild chimpanzees are eating and sharing ethanolic fruits. The question is, could they be getting similar benefits? The researchers used motion-activated cameras and filmed the chimps sharing fermented fruits on 10 separate occasions. Fruit shared by these chimps was tested for alcohol content. The highest level found was equivalent to 0.61% ABV, which is not strong at all. But still, chimps don't share food all the time, so this behavior with fermented fruit might be important, said Dr. Kimberly Hawkins, also from the University of Exeter. We need to find out more about whether they deliberately seek out ethanolic fruits and how they metabolize it. But this behavior could be the early evolutionary stages of quote-unquote feasting. If so, it suggests the human tradition of feasting may have its origins deep in our evolutionary history. So there you go. Well, that's all we got today, guys, for the April 24th Weird and Not News. I appreciate you guys hanging out. Thank you so much. Thank you for the crowd participation. Don't really read the chat too much on the Weird Not News. We're working on it, guys. It's a new thing. We're trying to get going and flowing correctly. But I do appreciate Arco rating with the 28 on Twitch. I appreciate all of you hanging out and chatting on Kick. I did not read or participate in the YouTube chat live. But The VOD is up there for y'all to watch. I appreciate y'all. And that's all we got now. We'll see you again on Monday for the next episode. Until then, we'll see you. That's a weird way to end it. I don't want to end it like that. So those of you on Kick, you can stick around. We'll hang out for a little bit if you guys want to. But we're going to end it on the Twitch and the YouTube on the multi-stream live production of the Weird and Not News. But I'll see you guys Monday on Weird and Not News on YouTube for sure. And hang around, guys, if you want to chit-chat after on the Kick.
It's